Okay, so for the uninitiated, I'm working on a Demolition Man, and the DMD, the original one, has a little bit of burn, and I couldn't get it working. I've tried to replace it, but it didn't seem to work. So what I picked up here is a Stern Pinball LED DMD. What is going on with my focus here? Stern Pinball LED DMD. Alright. It operates off 5 volts. And on the back, here I'll show you, this ribbon connector connects just fine as long as you line up pin 1 and pin 1. And then there is, let me see, a 4-pin header connector. Here you can see on this side. The other side doesn't really show too much. It's basically just a connector, just like any of these connectors, except there's 4 pins. None of them are keyed, and basically it's a ground to ground and 2 5. Now those are all sharing the same thing. I guess they did that for maybe connector compatibility or something. Now what I did is I wanted to use the existing harness. Actually, I was just being lazy. I didn't have this Molex connector, so what I did is I already have another 5-volt power supply running into this thing to control like the MPU and all that stuff. But what I did is I figured, you know what, I'm going to use this original board that came with the game. It's had some work done to the high voltage section, which is, it's not pretty at all. Okay, and I figured, you know what, if there's a ground, a 5 volt, which is this gray wire, a 12 volt, which is this wire here with the gray and yellow, 64 volt or 62 volt, and then these are your high voltage sections. Now really I only need 4 of these. Really actually I only need this one, the 5 volt. 5 volt, the ground, and then because there's 1 pin extra, the 12. I don't need that going into the board. So what I did is I just used the existing harness here, and then I snipped the 12 volt. Yeah, I know. Well, hey, guess what? I can solder, right? So if I wanted to go back to plasma, I can solder that back. And I also noticed that there's that other second. I don't know if there's any ground looping or anything that could be weird, but I figured 1 ground is plenty. So I snipped the ground, and there, snipped that, and I snipped the 12 volt. So right now I only have the 5 volt and 1 ground actually running into this thing. Alright, now since I can do that, I also don't need the fuse F601 and F602, so I left those empty in an effort that this whole high voltage section here, that is the -125 and -112, no longer are needed, and whatever control section or the 64 volt is also no longer needed. So you can run this original board minus the high voltage section along with your Stern LED DMD. So I'm going to turn this guy on. Alright, so I turn this on here, and there we are, and it works a treat. So there you go. You can run all of that here. This is, you can't see it there, but that's the other solid state power supply. I'm just getting into game mode here, the attract mode, as you can see. So press enter for test report, but if I don't, it's just going to go through the entire attract mode. There, I have the speakers disconnected, so you're not going to hear anything. But you can see it's beautiful. Like, this came from a gentleman on Pinside, and I really apologize for putting him through the whole ordeal of shipping to Canada. I am so sorry if it was as painful as it was, but thank you very much for being patient with me and getting through this, because the whole thing does work, and it's very, very pretty. So yeah, it looks good. And it looks so much better in real life. I wish that you guys could see this in real life. It's so bright and completely saturated. It's so saturated with color. Anyways, so there you have it. An old Demolition Man. I guess like a WPC DCS that can run with the LED DMD display. Alright, so here's that LED DMD again, but you can see that the original DMD has a bit of a mask, so you don't see any of the components on the side. Not the end of the world. You could probably, I think from the factory, they put some tint around this or something, because you wouldn't be able to see that. So, at least I don't see it on any of the other games I play with LED DMDs. Yeah, check that out. Fantastic. I'm glad that so those look good. Alright, so eventually this will be up and running. So happy. Let's get that going here. Enter for test report. I want to see what that test report is. That's not it.